Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Realm of Ori. In this video, we will continue with Volume 15, Chapter 1, Time of Despair, Part 8. And before we start, this video contains spoilers from the Tensura Light Novel. And by the way guys, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to get notifications for upcoming videos. So without further ado, let's get into the video. As if to embrace Veldora, Red Rain gently made a wrapping, and those trapped by the Scorching Embrace could only give Velgrynd the right to live or die. Even if the object is a dragon species, the result is the same. There is no place to escape as long as one is captured by a cage. Convinced of her victory, Velgrynd prepared to make a final exhortation to Veldora, but her movements came to an abrupt halt. The scent of Veldora that should have been captured disappeared. Kuahahahaha. Didn't I just say that? It's nothing as long as it doesn't hit. Trumpeting the victory was the human-turned Veldora. It was in this moment that Velgrynd really saw Veldora as a threat. On the other hand, Veldora was not so relaxed when he laughed and irritated the other. After calming down and thinking about it, Veldora, who was angry because his clothes were burned, felt that there was still a big difference in strength between him and his sister, and knew that the chances of winning a serious battle were slim, so he kept up his guard from the start. That's the learned Hinata way of fighting. In fighting Hinata, one's own habits seem to be seen through by the other. He overwhelms Hinata with a gap in strength while fighting on the 100th floor of the underground, but is hit hard when she travels back in time to take on the form of Kronoa, the hero. Veldora thought so, but even if he said it out loud, he would only be called a sore loser by his opponent, and he felt irritated at the look of smugness on Hinata's face, but a defeat is a defeat. Veldora honestly introspects and then begins to learn the art of fighting against an opponent who is stronger than himself. Not only that, but what was learned was cunning in mock battles with demons. When you can't beat an opponent by strength, as long as the opponent is more fatigued than yourself, it is a victory. This is the battle between spiritual beings. Veldora learned this. By observing Rimuru's life, an interest in all sorts of things emerged. The originally inquisitive Veldora's horizons were opened up and he learned to think in ways that were completely absent in the past, which seemed to have a benign effect on Veldora and played a role in Veldora's growth. The fruits of learning played a role in this battle with Velgrynd, the so-called no-defeat fighting style that Veldora tried to practice. Having been captured, Velgrynd was certain of victory. Veldora was desperate enough to avoid the scorching spit alone, not seeing that it was a trap, but that danger foreknowledge of the King of Investigation was unleashed. In order not to be careless on any occasion and to be on the alert to keep on going, it was with this blessing that Veldora was saved from the crisis. Velgrynd threw away all of her composure so far and stared closely at Veldora, who was laughing loudly. The younger brother in need of discipline, who had always been thought of as inferior to her, that Veldora, had somehow grown to this extent. It has to be admitted. Veldora was now on the same level as herself. Velgrynd endorsed Veldora and confronted him as an enemy above equal. That being the case, there is only the option of consuming Veldora and then relying on Rudra to unleash his kingship. Oh, yeah? Looks like I've got your approval. As if sensing Velgrynd's thoughts, Veldora turned into a dragon with a playful gesture. It would have been quite irritating, but somehow Velgrynd was happy. Come to think of it, I don't think I've ever played with this kid. And to think of such things. Well, yeah, I approve of you, you've been able to hold your own. So, Veldora, if it is thoughtful to disobey me, there will be no more forgiveness. Looking at the sister whose atmosphere had changed, Veldora also sensed a sense of crisis, but couldn't nod his head here. Kuahahaha. Then I'll lay down my life. I'm finally getting used to using the ultimate skill that I haven't used much for a long time. Despite being forced into a bitter fight as Velgrynd's opponent, it was enough to make a confrontation as long as that force was present. So Veldora felt it was his turn to strike this time. Although he can't use parallel existence, like Velgrynd, Veldora also hides one of the only first sight must-kill skills. This skill was only told to Rimuru, and was called the Harvest Storm Attack, and the skill was created after consulting with him. Even that Rimuru was in admiration, there was no way it wouldn't work on sister. I've been thinking to myself that I'm lucky Rimuru is a companion. Now, Veldora unceremoniously freed the Harvest Storm Attack. A thundercloud roar was released from Veldora's mouth, its tyranny interfering with space and turning into an unseen light flying haphazardly. Velgrynd, of course, would only respond to extremely dangerous attacks. Something like interfering wave had no effect at all and was never put out of sight in the first place. Velgrynd was no exception, looking to miss the Harvest Storm Attack. It was only when the whole body was pervaded by pain that one understood that one had fallen into the Veldora's spell. Goo, I can't believe I'm feeling pain? Veldora, what did you just do? Kuahahahaha. It's my self-created, harvest storm attack, which I'm very confident in. You're a real dumbass. That's why you're not good enough. Veldora felt a fierce pain that he had never felt before. The one trumpeting the victory was Velgrynd. The moment Velgrynd recognized Veldora, the duel was abandoned, and the winning direction was no longer meaningful, but the full force of the fight was driving the success. So worked hard to keep Veldora unnoticed, quietly approaching the Emperor's flagship flying airship. On board the flagship was Lieutenant Kondou, who was fully prepared. Kondou unleashed the strongest aura towards Veldora, following Veldora's, chanting words, instructions. And then, that one blow, even a god could be destroyed. The initial speed is extremely close to the speed of light, and it can penetrate all kinds of defense barriers to reach the target. Veldora, who had been careless, had no strength left to resist the God-Extinguishing bomb. Being hit by such a projectile, even his own existence was threatened. Veldora was in chaos. Sister, you actually borrowed a third person's hand. Veldora was a bit forgetful because he felt he could win over his sister, so he got caught in the breach and fell for his sister's plan. A strong alarm sounded inside Veldora's head, and being a spiritual being, Veldora was abnormal enough to be able to feel the pain alone. Ouch, that's a headache. This time it's better to admit defeat honestly and wait for the next time we meet to get revenge. Let's see, let's get in touch with Rimuru first. All caught up in this state, Veldora still retained some submissiveness. The reason why is because there is a soul corridor between him and Rimuru, which can be revived later. As long as Rimuru was alive, Veldora was indestructible, so there was absolutely no need to panic. It should have been so, but instead, things started going in the worst possible direction. The king's power unleashed. It wasn't noticed because it was only watching Kondou, and there was actually a well-dressed man on board the airship. Masayuki? No. Wait, give me a minute. What's this? Oops, this really sucks. By the time he found out, it was too late. The man, Emperor Rudra, was about to seize the spiritual will of Veldora. It doesn't matter if it's just me, but if it goes on like this, my friend Rimuru will also be affected, and only that will not be allowed. Rudra's domination is far more powerful than imagined, and if it continues to be left unchecked, it will obviously affect Rimuru through the soul corridor. This is good. After that, it's up to you, Rimuru. With those last words, Veldora's consciousness plunged into darkness.